Picture this: a massive motorhome buried axle deep in Utah sand, miles from civilization. Two recovery companies have already walked away. The situation looks hopeless. Then a bright yellow Jeep Cherokee pulls up, and everyone watching thinks it's a joke. But in the next 10 minutes, that little Jeep will do what million-dollar tow trucks couldn't. This is the world of Matt's off-road recovery, where impossible situations meet creative solutions, and where a family business from Hurricane, Utah, has mastered the art of pulling vehicles from places they should never have been in the first place. Matt Wetzel didn't start as a YouTube star. For 12 years, he built roofs under the brutal Utah sun, eventually running his own company. But roofing wasn't his calling. He pivoted to towing, running a traditional 24-hour service with heavy-duty trucks. The problem? Those expensive rigs were worthless in sand. They'd sink trying to reach stranded tourists, forcing Matt into his own recoveries. He was losing money on every desert job, sometimes charging just $400 for work that destroyed his equipment and took hours to complete. Everything changed when Matt spotted a 2001 Jeep Cherokee. He stripped it down, built it up, and painted it bright yellow. When he rolled up to rescue a Class C motorhome buried in sand dunes, the customer took one look and laughed. "You're gonna pull me out with that banana?" The skepticism vanished minutes later when that banana yanked the massive motorhome free like it weighed nothing. The nickname stuck, and the banana became legendary. Matt had figured out what others missed. You don't need size and weight in sand. You need the right tool for the job. The banana alone wasn't enough. Matt needed a force multiplier, and he found it in kinetic energy recovery ropes. These aren't your typical tow straps. Made from specially engineered nylon, they stretch under load and snap back with tremendous force, using physics to do the heavy lifting. Matt calls them a fantastic tool, which might be the understatement of the decade. Jobs that once required winches, multiple vehicles, and hours of work now took minutes with a kinetic rope and proper technique. The genius is in the stretch. Traditional chains and straps jerk violently, breaking mounting points and damaging vehicles. Kinetic ropes absorb shock, distributing force evenly while building momentum. Matt would back up, hit the throttle, and let the rope do its magic. The banana combined with kinetic ropes became unstoppable in sand, mud, and snow. This innovation separated Matt from every competitor in southern Utah. While others struggled with conventional methods, he was completing 3 recoveries in the time they'd finish one. Word spread fast. Stranded tourists started asking specifically for the guy with the yellow Jeep. Matt began filming these recoveries on his iPhone, propping it against rocks when nobody was available to hold it. Those grainy videos would eventually change everything. Some obsessions start young. When Matt was 12 years old, he saw a 1961 Chevrolet Corvair Lakewood 700 wagon and fell in love. He didn't have the money to buy it, but he never forgot that car. 28 years later, in 2016, Matt finally tracked it down through a friend who'd rescued it from a classic car breaker's yard. The Corvair was rough, but Matt saw potential where others saw scrap metal. 5 years of modifications transformed it into something nobody expected. Matt ripped out the stock rear-mounted flat-6 engine and installed a front-mounted Chevy 5.3-liter V8 from a Silverado. He added lifted long-travel suspension, Dana axles, a turbo 400 transmission, and massive Milestar Patagonia tires. The result? A lifted 4-wheel drive monster that could fly over dunes while carrying recovery equipment. The Corvair became Matt's secret weapon for extreme terrain. While the banana dominated sand, the Corvair conquered everything else. Viewers watched in disbelief as this vintage wagon launched over dunes, crawled up impossible rock faces, and reached stuck vehicles in places conventional recovery trucks couldn't dream of accessing. That childhood dream had become the ultimate off-road machine. Not every recovery happens in sand. Sometimes Matt gets calls that make even him nervous. A Chevy truck sat perched on a narrow mountain ledge with a steep drop-off just feet away. The access road barely qualified as a path. 2 professional recovery services had already assessed the situation and refused the job. Too dangerous, they said. Too much liability. But the owner was desperate, and Matt doesn't walk away from challenges. The physics involved were terrifying. One wrong pull angle and the truck would tumble down the mountainside. Matt had to consider weight distribution, anchor points, and the structural integrity of the ledge itself. The truck had spun to face uphill, which actually helped. He could attach winch cables to the front without repositioning the vehicle. But getting his own equipment close enough without causing a collapse required surgical precision. Matt spent over an hour setting up. Multiple anchor points, careful calculations, every crew member positioned exactly where they needed to be. When he finally engaged the winch, everyone held their breath. Inch by inch, the Chevy crept backward towards safety. The ledge held. The cables held. Matt's expertise made the impossible look routine, but those who understand vehicle recovery knew they just witnessed something extraordinary. Even experts have close calls. Matt responded to a rolled Polaris RZR Pro R in remote Utah terrain. The UTV's rear suspension was completely destroyed, twisted metal jutting at wrong angles. Just loading it onto the recovery trailer would be complicated. The broken suspension meant the vehicle couldn't roll properly, requiring creative winch work and precise spotting to drag it sideways onto the flatbed. Matt positioned everything carefully, hooking cables at specific angles to slide the mangled Polaris into place. His crew called out directions as he operated the winch controls. Everything seemed under control until it wasn't. Matt stepped around the trailer to check clearance, and suddenly his footing gave way on the uneven ground. He went down hard, sliding directly under the trailer as the Polaris shifted above him. For a few terrifying seconds, thousands of pounds of metal hung above Matt's body. One wrong move from the winch operator, one shift in weight distribution, and he'd be crushed. His crew screamed warnings. Matt scrambled out, heart pounding, covered in dirt. He was okay, shaken but unhurt. The recovery continued, successful in the end, but it served as a harsh reminder. This job is dangerous every single day, and even the best can't control everything. When Donut Media reached out for a collaboration, Matt saw an opportunity to teach proper recovery techniques to their massive audience. Donut Media specializes in street cars and performance builds, pure pavement guys who'd never dealt with serious off-road extraction. Matt designed 3 challenges with escalating difficulty, letting the Donut crew handle the recoveries under his supervision. The first 2 went smoothly. Basic stuck vehicles, straightforward pulls, good learning experiences. Then came Challenge 3, an off-road limousine that some madman had taken rock crawling. Yes, you read that right. A stretched limo, now thoroughly wedged between boulders in southern Utah's unforgiving terrain. The Donut guys stared in disbelief. Things got sketchy fast. As they attempted the extraction, the off-road wrecker's throttle stuck wide open. The engine screamed. The cable went taut. Everyone jumped back as the vehicle lurched forward unpredictably. Matt rushed in to troubleshoot, killing the engine before disaster struck. After fixing the throttle issue, they completed the recovery successfully. The Donut crew learned more in one afternoon than most people learn in years. They discovered what a soft shackle is, understood kinetic rope physics, and gained massive respect for the complexity of off-road recovery work. Matt made it look easy. They learned it definitely wasn't. Some calls come from way outside Matt's usual territory. A Ford truck sat abandoned on a treacherous California mountainside, facing uphill at a severe angle. The vehicle had been there for weeks. Local recovery services looked at the situation and flat out refused. The terrain was too dangerous, the angle too steep, the risk too high. But desperation finds Matt's number, and he doesn't turn down impossible jobs. He brought the wrecker, his custom-built beast featuring a 1956 International Harvester, R220 fire truck cab mated to a GM 8.1-liter Vortec engine. This monster carries 7 12,000-pound Badlands Apex winches. If anything could handle this nightmare, the wrecker could. Matt and his crew spent hours rigging cables to the Ford's front end, nearby trees for stress distribution, and the wrecker itself for maximum pulling force. Every angle mattered, every anchor point critical. Then came an unexpected complication. Someone had stolen the truck's battery during its abandonment. Without it, they couldn't put the Ford in neutral or steer during extraction. Matt improvised, adjusting his approach to drag the locked vehicle uphill. The winches screamed, the cables stretched, but inch by inch, the Ford climbed that mountain. What no other team would attempt, Matt completed successfully. Another impossible job conquered. Matt's journey from exhausted business owner filming iPhone videos in his attic to YouTube phenomenon was an overnight success. He ran his 24-hour towing company while editing videos until 2 or 3 in the morning, catching catnaps wherever possible. He lived that brutal schedule for over 18 months, dropping 2 to 3 videos weekly. Within 6 to 8 months, one video hit 1 million views, then another, then more. The turning point came when Matt called YouTube strategist Daryl Eves, expecting to pay $5,000 for a consulting course. Instead, Daryl watched Matt's content and immediately requested lunch. He saw something special: authentic family business dynamics, genuine respect for customers, creative problem solving, and those breathtaking southern Utah landscapes near Zion National Park. Today, Matt's Off-Road Recovery is more than a towing company. It's a family operation featuring his wife, Jamie, their 4 sons, the beloved Ed with his infectious positivity, and 3 rescue dogs, Lady, Peanut, and Max, who sprint alongside recovery vehicles through some of America's most stunning terrain. They've built something rare, a channel where technical expertise meets genuine human connection. Every stranded motorist gets treated with dignity, regardless of how badly they've screwed up. Because ultimately, these recoveries aren't just about physics and equipment. They're about people helping people when everything's gone wrong.